Most of us learning AI agents and data science enroll ourselves in training courses where their sole focus is on teaching those topics, but they totally ignore the other essential skills that are absolutely necessary for us to crack the interview and get started in the job. So today I'm going to discuss about the top 10 skills that you should definitely know in order to get started. The first and the most important tool that I want to discuss is Git. Git is a tool that we use to control the flow of our software development, allowing us to switch between one change to another change seamlessly. I'm sure that most of us know about the simple Git commands such as git pull, git push, and git commit. But let me ask, how many of us know about git rebase or something called git reset? And this is where the real power of Git comes. And unfortunately, we are not taught about these things in our coaching centers. The second tool in our list is Jira. Jira is a agile software development methodology, and there is something called sprint in Jira. Sprint is nothing but a time frame generally lasting from 2 weeks to 3 weeks, and during this sprint all the members in the team actively work on their tasks towards the goal of the sprint. These individual blocks that you see are one task, and these tasks are allocated to different team members. Each task has a number assigned to them, which is assigned automatically, and each task also has some number that you see here 252, which is called story point, and story point shows the effort a team member has to put on a given task, and all these tasks comes under one or more epic. So here this task belongs to epic called billing. Epic is nothing but a bigger feature that the team plans to implement. The third on the list is Microsoft Outlook. Although it's not a software development tool and I did not want to put it on this list, regardless, there is a feature in Outlook called Calendar where all of your day's meeting, invitation, or video call will be visible, and you should know it effectively to organize or schedule a meeting with your team members and colleagues. The fourth tool in the list is Docker. Docker is a containerization technology. Now, what exactly does that mean? Remember Conda? Conda is an environment where you safely install your Python packages, Python libraries, and run your application regardless of the other libraries that are installed in your operating system. In a similar fashion, Docker not only separates the concern of other Python libraries, it also separates the concern of the whole operating system. So you get a brand new operating system, and in this operating system, you can install your application along with the necessary packages and then run. At the heart of Docker is what we call Docker file. Docker file is a simple instruction where you tell the Docker from where to get your OS, which commands to run, and expose your port in order to communicate with the external world. The fifth tool in our list is Kubernetes. Previously, we discussed about Docker, and in a production level application, there are many Docker containers, and each Docker container have one specific application. So, for example, one Docker container might have a database, and another Docker container might have your AI model. These containers interact with each other, and there are many more containers that needs to be managed. Managing them manually is a very complicated task, and that's where Kubernetes comes into the picture. Kubernetes is an orchestration tool that helps you to manage your containers, and based on the requests from users, these containers can be scaled up or scaled down, and all of this happens with the magic from Kubernetes. The sixth tool is kind of a bank locker of most software companies, and it is called GitHub. So, if you have worked on your code before in your local computer, you know that you store it in your local disk, but saving the code of a big software company in a local disk is a disaster. If the disk goes corrupt, if the disk catches fire, everything will be lost and the company will go bankrupt. And so that's why the companies use online remote repositories called GitHub. And there is also GitLab. Now, both are equally popular, and I'm going to talk about GitHub. Let's jump to a particular project. Chain. Okay, the most important thing that you should learn in GitHub or GitLab is the pull request for GitHub and the merge request for GitLab. Now, pull requests are the most important workflow in GitHub, and you should be totally comfortable with using pull requests, creating pull request, reviewing the pull request, and commenting on the pull request. Let us go to this particular pull request. As you can see, these have what we call conversation, and this is where the reviewers and the assignee code assignee can post their messages, and we have commits here. So one here indicates that there is only one commit in this particular branch, and here the branch name is this one. This is the branch name, and this is the request says that this branch needs to be merged to the main or the master branch, but only a few special approved reviewers can merge these branches. And you should also be comfortable with this particular tab called files changed. And the red lines are the ones that have been deleted, green ones are the ones that have been added. And although there is only one file here that has been modified in this particular commit or the merge request, but there can be many multiple files, and a reviewer has to go through all those files and see if the code makes sense and if it is valid, and they could be merged. The seventh tool in our list is Integrated Development Environment, or IDE for short. The most popular IDE is no doubt Visual Studio Code, but as a AI developer, you should also be aware of PyCharm, because PyCharm is particularly crafted for Python programming language, and it has several features that make it very easy to run and debug your Python code. For example, here you can see the run button and debug button for running and debugging your code. If you use PyTest for testing your code, this also comes in handy. There is also a version control button here, which is quite powerful, where you can see the code changes between different commits and different branches from your local as well as origin. And mastering this thing here will give you ultimate power. The eighth tool is the messaging platforms like Slack and Discord. Although this is also not a software development tool, but mastering this is also very crucial for effective communication with your team members. The most important feature about this that I want to discuss is formatting your message. If you know Markdown language, this is the language that they use to format their messages. And let me show you how you can format your code or commands. So for example, if you have a command line called git pull, you can format your messages by using triple backticks followed by bash, and this will format your message into a bash looking like script. If you have Python, you can use Python here, and then you can write your Python code, and if you click enter, then this will format like a Python code with nice color formatting. The ninth tool that I'm going to discuss is called pre-commit hooks. Pre-commit hook is an incredible tool which acts like an immune system to your center code repository. How do you think that the large software companies manages the consistency and format of code across all the Git commits that is being pushed every day by different team members? The trick lies in pre-commit hooks. Pre-commit hook is a Python package which you install using pip install pre-commit. Before you can use pre-commit hooks, you need to configure a file called precommit.config.yaml where you mention the hooks that you want to run. So the hooks are this kind of script which run when you do git commit every time. There can be more than one hook that you can use, and for the AI development, the most common hooks are rough, mypy, and many others. Rough is used for formatting, checking the format of the Python code, and mypy is used to enforce the type hints that you provide in your code. Before you can actually use pre-commit, you have to run pre-commit install, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. As soon as you run git commit, the pre-commit will run automatically, and it will show you the result of each hook. Here you can see that the hooks for YAML, checking YAML, fixing end of files, and trim trailing white space, all these hooks are being checked. Some of them passed, one failed, which we have to fix it. And that's it. That's how you use pre-commit hooks. The 10th and the last tool in our tool list is Pydantic. Pydantic is highly underrated. Pydantic allows you to validate your data type, and this helps a lot in early stage development. Let me show you how it works. We import base model from Pydantic library, and when we create a new data type delivery here, we inherit base model from Pydantic, and all the attributes in this class also have type hints. Now, when we actually use delivery inside our code, and if the if the schema, if the data type of delivery doesn't match with what we have defined here, then it will raise an error. And this helps us a lot in validating our code before going to the production. And Pydantic is highly used in production grade software development. So that's it. Those are the top 10 tools that companies use for developing their AI applications. I hope that you have really learned something new from this video. And if you have any questions, then please leave me a comment. Thank you for watching.